Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors. On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we'll be taking a look at the latest addition to our vintage collection shelf displays, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Sabine Wren and Chopper from Star Wars Rebels. If you're new to the channel or a fan of Star Wars collecting, be sure to smash a like on this video, remember to subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, or even become a channel member. Welcome back everyone. I am very excited to share with you my latest acquisition, which literally just showed up, and it is the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Sabine Wren and Chopper from Star Wars Rebels, the two remaining characters who help round out and complete our mural card for the Haslab Ghost. I am very excited to see that vehicle make its way into our collection, and to be honest, I'm actually a little disappointed that Hasbro hasn't given us many updates. We, haven't seen many behind the scenes in terms of, like what's going on after we funded this. I would like to see more images of the packaging and just, create a little bit more buzz and excitement before this thing gets into our collection. It's supposed to actually drop, fall of 24, and we're pretty much starting to, get into that season. So I would like to know, when is the Ghost coming? Give me some updates, Hasbro. But in the meantime, I am very excited to have these two figures added to the collection. I gotta tell you that I've just opened them up, kind of messed around with Sabine, put her in a couple poses, and she is a phenomenal figure. Chopper, of course, is, pretty much just a repaint of the previous figure we got, but comes with some accessories, and for the most part, he's looking pretty good. But with all that said and done, let's take a closer look at the packaging and both of these figures. Taking a look at this action figure 2-pack, I've got to start off by saying that I really like this flat cereal box look that's going on here. This is a bit different than other 2-packs that we've seen in the vintage collection that have that tab on the top, and personally I just think this looks really clean. It'll store easy, and you don't have to worry about that tab getting bent or, dented or anything like that. So really good stuff going on here, Hasbro. But moving on, we have the Star Wars and Rebels logo prominently displayed up top with the Ghost flying over Lothal, and then a nice toy photography setting here of the two characters inside, Sabine Wren and Chopper, better known as C110P, looking really good on the grasslands of Lothal with those two Lothcats there, the Kenner logo down below, looking really good. Chopper's got his arms up, very classic stance right there. And then naturally we have that classic call out showing you the two carded figures that are included inside this packaging. So really great stuff here, Hasbro. I think this is phenomenal packaging. Taking a look at the side of the box, we have a nice bold image of Sabine Wren looking really good against that bright orange background, and I gotta say that it's just a very classic Rebels color going on there. On the other side, we have Chopper looking pretty good himself against a purple background, and I think that goes well with, his orange dome and just, makes all of his colors pop very nicely as well. And I just really like, this new design that Hasbro been implementing on the Army Builder 4-packs and some of these 2-packs, so you can just, display these on your shelves kind of like a book. So really cool stuff going on there. The bottom of the packaging doesn't really have anything too exciting, and then on the top we have additional images of Sabine and Chopper on those colored backgrounds, as well as the Star Wars and Rebels logo. On the back of the box, we have a nice starry background that just feels very Star Wars in my opinion, and we have two nice images of the card backs included in this set, followed by the Vintage Collection logo. And taking a look at these two cards, they look absolutely magnificent. So all in all, some pretty good packaging here, and I think this is one of the strongest 2-packs that we've seen thus far in the Vintage Collection. Taking a look at the inside of the packaging, we have a nice cardboard tray here that helps prevent, the card backs from becoming bent or having any kind of like sag to them. They are nicely kept in there, and then we have two figures, kind of sandwiched together. I will say that unfortunately they don't have any tissue paper that helps them, not get scuffed up or anything like that, but as you can see, they look pretty good except for some minor damage up here. So you probably, will have to check, just to make sure you're not getting a damaged card. I got quite a few of these, so I will be looking for the best carded sample out of them. But Hasbro, we need to make sure stuff like that is not happening on these figures. Taking a look at our vintage style packaging, we have the Star Wars and Rebels logo nicely displayed up top, followed by Sabine Wren on an orange name pill color. We have a wonderful image of the character here from that strong mural art from the Season 4 finale, and naturally the Kenner logo is down below, tying everything together. Additionally, we have this nice new Sabine Wren figure looking really good on that orange name pill color, and has lots of different accessories that just help this, feel like a nice action figure release. So all in all, fantastic stuff here. On the back, she is VC 332 in the line, Sabine Wren, and we have a small description of the character, followed by the Vintage Collection logo, and additionally, a nice complete image of that mural art, which looks really cool here. And, it's kind of nice to see this a little bit different than a standard Vintage Collection release that has another image of the card back and another image of the figure, and this just makes it a little bit different and unique, which I think is pretty cool in my opinion. So it's absolutely wonderful to see our Rebels carded collection continue to grow, and I cannot wait for the rest of these mural cardbacks to show up so I can have them all displayed together. Taking a look at Sabine out of the packaging and focusing on her portrait, I think Hasbro has done a really nice job of taking an animated character and doing a live action interpretation of them. I really think this side profile here looks fantastic for her. It looks pretty good when you get to this side, but yeah, a little bit straight on, it's okay, but her side profiles are phenomenal. I think they've also done a really nice job with her hair color and just getting that purple gradient going to like the basically white. Phenomenal work there. There's some really nice, paint applications with her beauty mark there. Her eyebrows look nice. And yeah, just a lot of detail there, especially all over the figure itself when it comes to paint applications. But yeah, the portrait looks pretty dang good in my opinion. And then, of course, we have a nice hard plastic swappable helmet versus, the removable ones, which is going to be absolutely a nice addition here because it is going to be proportionate to the rest of her body and have some nice sculpting detail on it. So I think that looks really good as well. She's actually got some pretty good range of motion there when it comes to the helmet. And yeah, decent paint applications on there, kind of subtle colors because they're very dark. Her rangefinder, of course, works. And yeah, it's got a nice metallic sheen towards the bottom as well, a couple other paint applications, and yeah, overall I think everything on the top of the figure is looking pretty dang good. Taking a look at the articulation and accessories, Sabine packs quite a bit of punch in my opinion. So of course she comes with her Mandalorian gauntlet shield, which we first saw with Paz Vizsla, and this one fits nice and snug in there, so that was really good use of tooling right there, Hasbro. She's got some phenomenal turquoise coloring right there on her gauntlet. I think that just looks really good, as well as Morai here on her pauldron. That looks phenomenal. She's got blasters that, she can grip very well with her hands. The only thing I will say is that she doesn't have hinged wrists. And that's a bit of a bummer because I personally really think they should be putting hinged wrists on some of these smaller figures. I'll go over that a little bit more in a second. But yeah, she's got great accessories in terms of her blasters that, fit in these holsters quite well. They don't fall out or anything like that. The holsters, they look a little big, but I personally am not bothered by it. I think overall she's a good looking figure proportion wise. Then moving to the back, we have her jetpack that we see in Rebels, and yeah, it's got a flame accessory. This is the same one that came with a Boba Fett and Dark Troopers. It's just a standard go-to now, but it pegs in there pretty nicely. This is also the standard peg system that we see for most of our figures now, so you can swap different jetpacks with her if you choose to do so. It's got some pretty nice detail there on her jetpack as well in terms of paint applications. Very clean lines, looking really nice, and yeah, just the amount of paint applications that are on this figure are pretty impressive as well. Of course, her rangefinder, like I said, is articulated. She's got some pretty good range of motion here too, so you can look up pretty, decently, down quite a bit. So that's great to see. Of course, she comes with everything that we expect now on our Vintage Collection figures. The new style barbell hips, swivel at the thigh, ball jointed knees, everything, rocker ankles. And yeah, the only thing she's really missing is some hinged wrists. Of course, you can rotate them 360 on that swivel. Her shoulders don't get, hindered by a hard plastic. Instead, we're using that nice soft plastic here so she can really get some good range of motion and reach upward. So yeah, lots of great stuff going on here in terms of the articulation. It's also got some really nice paint applications on the bottom, like those paint splatters on her shin guards. And yeah, I'm just really liking this figure quite a bit. It's a big step up from, the first Sabine figure that we got from the Ahsoka series that unfortunately had a really bad helmet. Not much you can say about it. It's bad. It's horribly sized. It's one of those plastic slip-on helmets, and I'm glad that they're moving away from that because you get better looking figures like this. So going back to the hinge wrist issue, here we have Sabine Wren but using Bo-Katan's hinged wrist, and I gotta say that it does not look all that bad. Yes, Bo-Katan's hand is a little bit larger because, it's kind of just a different sculpt. It's a gloved hand that's, a little bulkier in general, but I just don't think it looks that bad with this Sabine figure. Taking a look at her other hand, it's not drastically different from that, and personally, I would like to see more articulation if possible. Sure, maybe her hand might look a little bigger, but I think this is not a bad ratio whatsoever. And that would allow her to do a lot more different posing, especially if I want to, give her the dark saber or something like that. So something to consider, Hasbro. And then I wanted to share this figure, which is actually the Ahsoka series version, which I had put the Obi-Wan hands on from, I believe it's that second release where he has the blue shirt. It was in the 3-pack. And yeah, that hand looked pretty good and works pretty well here for, her gloved look in Ahsoka. And it allows her to do, this kind of a striking pose with a saber, which you can't really do with the hands that she came with because they don't have hinges and they can't angle downward. So that is why hinge wrists are pretty important in my opinion. And I would always like Hasbro to try to get those kind of points of articulation added to a figure when they can do it. I think many collectors would agree it's amazing to finally have some of the Rebels crew added to our collections just before the Haslab Ghost's arrival. Sabine Wren is a personal favorite of mine, and this all new from the ground up figure does not disappoint when it comes to articulation and sculpting. Additionally, the only reuse that can be seen is on her lower boots. Sabine comes fully loaded with all the modern advancements we have seen in the vintage collection lately. New style barbell hips, rocker ankles, and an abundance of ball joints will allow Sabine to take down any and all bucket heads on the battlefield. Furthermore, the figure is adorned with a plethora of paint applications, which include a crisp Rebel Alliance logo on the chest plate, Morai and a Specter 5 symbol on her pauldrons, paint splatters on the shin armor, and a number of geometric markings in various colors seen all over the Mandalorian armor, helmet, and jetpack. In total, she has nearly 20 different colors used throughout the armor, portrait, and gear. The only thing I will say is that she does not have a hinge at the wrist, which is unfortunate and would allow for greater posing with the blasters and a dark saber. But regardless, Sabine is an excellent addition to the vintage collection and sets the bar high for 375 action figures. Taking a look at the packaging for our second figure, we once again have the Star Wars and Rebels logo placed nicely up top, followed by Chopper C1 10P on a purple name pill color. We have a very nice image of Chopper from that mural art, looking really good with the Kenner logo down below, and you just can't go wrong with a droid on a card in my opinion. Additionally, we have a nice bubble here that has a lot more in it than the Ahsoka release of Chopper. He only kind of, came with a little tracking device and his other antenna, whereas this one is a full-size bubble and actually has 2 Loth Cats in it. So I really think this is a strong release and a really nice card for Chopper. On the back, he is VC 333 in the line. Chopper C1 10P, better known as the War Criminal, with a small description about the character and the Vintage Collection logo down below, and also that complete mural art right there, looking really good. So Chopper is one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars galaxy. I just really like his attitude and sass, so I'm very excited to get this one into the carded collection, and additionally I'm very happy to get one without damage on it. This card is pretty much perfect, as well as that Sabine card, so that was definitely nice to, be able to have another set to open up and have a good carded sample. Taking a look at Chopper out of the packaging, he is pretty much the same figure that we saw in the Ahsoka release. He's got, articulation at the dome, so he can tilt it side to side, and that's really, nice. He can get a lot of different expressions that you expect out of Chopper. His arms do move. They're on a swivel. Unfortunately, they have no other points of articulation, which was a bit of a bummer for many of us who are Chopper fans and just wanted to see that type of articulation. He moves his arms quite a bit, so that was a bit of a shame. The other thing I was always a little disappointed about is that you cannot remove these arms. They're made of a soft plastic, but you just cannot get them out. So I've kind of looked into this, and he does have, a seam here that's kind of glued together. And it looks like the soft plastic then has a washer at the end of it that then just prevents you from pulling it out, which is such a bummer because Chopper, sometimes puts his arms away and he just has a dome look. and I would love to recreate some of those scenes, but I am now hindered with, the ability to not remove these. Not sure why Hasbro went that route. Maybe they thought they would, fall out quite a bit, but there's other figures that have very small limbs like this that, you just peg in, like Salacious Crumb that we recently got. Grogu has a very small peg that you can just kind of put in there. Yeah, just a little odd. I don't know. I would have definitely liked to see a removable arm at least. But moving on, he's got some other articulation here that you see on most droids. He can kind of move his leg like that. He's got a little articulation here. Same thing on the other side. Soft hose here that won't get in the way of anything. His wheel, it's got a little rotation there. You can remove it, which is cool, but again, a bit of a bummer that they've never given us his rocket yet. Hopefully we'll see that down the road. This would have been a really good release to get that rocket out, I personally think, but alas. Then he does have his forward arm, which you can get out like that, which is pretty cool. So he can stun people or, open some doors and stuff like that. He uses it a lot to stun people. It's like a little bit of an electro device because he is a military model. He's a war criminal, so watch out for this guy. And then lastly, he's got the different antenna, so you can simply take it out like that and then put this through the peg, and then it can transmit messages to the Rebel Alliance. So pretty cool stuff here. And then if we bring in the Ahsoka release for a quick comparison, you can see they're pretty much the same. The Ahsoka one looks a little dirtier. And yeah, I really like the Rebels one. I just think the colors look cool, especially the blue on the eyes. Big fan of that. And then you can see that tracking device that the Ahsoka version comes with. And personally, I think this one's a lot better. The Rebels release comes with those 2 Lothcats, which already is a lot more than what we saw with this figure. And lastly, taking a look at those 2 Lothcats, they have some pretty cool detail to them, and it's nice to get, different variations of these little critters added to our collections. I really like this one here with the stripes on his ears. It's so Rebels, and I'm just very, very excited about these little accessories. So taking a look at these, if you haven't gotten one of them yet, they got a little bit of rotation to their head, but other than that, it's just kind of a sculpted piece, so not going to do a whole lot other than look cool maybe in your collection. I use them a lot for action figure photography. They're great to put in backgrounds and just add a little bit more, character to those different shots. So pretty cool. And I do like that both of them have a little variation in their eyes. The blue eyes here and, little cat yellow eyes going on here. So pretty cool stuff. I do think this one maybe could have used a little bit more, patterning on him. But for the most part, he's pretty cool looking. And I can't wait to get the all-white version with Ezra from the Ghost. That'll be really cool as well. The infamous war criminal C-110P, better known as Chopper, is a wonderful addition to the Vintage Collection's Rebels series lineup, and will look simply stunning when displayed with the rest of the Specters, the Ghost, and the Phantom too. While Chopper does not have all the articulation we see with a number of our action figures in the Heritage scale, this droid can certainly hold his own on the battlefield by achieving several different poses that may appear neutral, but still pack a lot of character and punch in my opinion, especially for a military model that has been known to wipe out Star Destroyers and their entire crew. The included accessories are definitely a nice touch. The more Lothcats, the better in my opinion, and these will really add to our Rebels shelf displays or Lothal dioramas. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this latest addition to the Vintage Collection and our Rebels shelf displays, Sabine Wren and Chopper from Season 3 of Rebels. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to smash a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.